Welcome back to the Hangout from Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and yeah, this is the Hangout. This is the live show that we do every Thursday at about 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We talk comics, we review comics, we talk about comic book news, and we hang out. We have fun. So if you're here watching this on the replay, thank you. I hope that you can catch us live one of these days, maybe next Thursday at 7. But if you're here in the chat, go ahead and say what's up. What I'd like to know from you, you know what? In a preview of tonight's conversation, I want to know, like, who is your favorite DC hero? That's what I want to know in the chat if you're here. What's up, Noah, my man? Tim's here. Interesting topic of discussion. I agree. My man James is here. Is that a Supergirl emoji? Rupert's here. He's going to listen to this on his drive home. Well, let me put on the podcast voice. Listening on your afternoon drive to the Hangout. Enterprises is here. What's up? Rerum Trading. What's up, man? What's up? Gabe's here. The Batman spawn on the profile picture. And so far, we're 100% Batman. Rupert's Batman. Enterprises says Batman all the way. So I don't know, man. I gotta hear who the rest of you guys love from DC Comics. Gabe says hit that like button, y'all. Much appreciated. Matt says good evening. Good evening, sir. How are you? Those are some nice posters in the back of your photo as well. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I'm sensing a theme there. So yeah, man. Tonight we have a pretty fun show. I do have to try to keep the time in mind because I'm gonna be appearing on someone else's podcast. So I've got to record that appearance at about 8:30. So I'm gonna try to, keep us on a tight schedule, as they say. Matt's favorite DC hero is Nightwing. I would love to see a Nightwing movie. That'd be dope. So before we get into tonight's topic, which is we're talking about just all these new announcements in the DC universe, like James Gunn finally announced his sort of phase 1 plan or chapter 1 plan for the DCU. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm excited to do so. But before we get into it, I got to give a huge shout out to everybody that makes this channel possible. So huge thanks to the channel family, whether you've backed the channel at the squad level or the family level, you are a co-producer. You're the reason, or part of the reason I'm able to, buy comics and talk about comics and all that stuff. So thank you to everyone listed here in the channel family. Much appreciated. If you'd like to support the channel with your dollars, you can click the join button down below or consider donating a super chat while you're watching tonight. But I've also got to give a huge shout out to our channel sponsor, Organic Priced Books. Organic Priced Books is the best place to go for collected editions. So if you're getting trade paperbacks, oversized hardcovers, the big absolute editions, they got all of them. And, they help keep me stocked. I get all of my collected editions from Organic Price Books. And I really, great packaging, great customer service. You've heard the spiel because that's just real. It's what they got going on. So anyway, if you'd like to place an order at Organic Price Books, maybe for one of the books that came out this week, like the Milestone Compendium Volume 2, go ahead to bjkicks.link/OPB. Check that out. You can save $2 on every order with the code BJKicks at checkout. If you're buying 3 or more books, you can use the code BJKicks. Ship it together. You'll save 5% on that order, which will be cool. Very cool. So again, thanks to everybody that makes content on Comics Are Dope possible. Now, let's get back to the chat. So the $1 Billion Crusader, he's a friend. Spawn from Mortal Kombat 11. Nice. I think I have Mortal Kombat 11. I don't think I've played as Spawn, though. I liked Injustice a lot. I didn't really play Mortal Kombat 11 a lot, even though they're basically the same game. Tim is very interested in the Swamp Thing horror movie. My wife really liked the Swamp Thing CW series that got canceled after 5 episodes or whatever it was. I think they did 1 full season and canceled it in the middle of that season. So she'll probably like the Swamp Thing movie. Menterprise says here that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow was selling like crazy. Yeah, I've seen it. It's been going on eBay for at least $50. I think maybe even more. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I bought issue 1 of Woman of Tomorrow, and then, like, I didn't buy the rest of it. Well, let's see. Yeah, issue number 1 is going for about $45 on eBay right now, but there are oh, there's a bunch of these left, so don't overpay. For me, like, I don't need to have the single issues. I've learned over time that single issues are kind of a hassle for me. Like, I don't like digging them out of the short box. I don't like digging them out of bags and boards. I love them for like month to month reading. Like when a book is new, I will grab it in single issues, but I'm not gonna like collect 12 single issues and then open them up back to back to back. Like unless I just absolutely have to. So yeah. Gabe says, who's gonna watch the Batman 2 in 2025? I will. I will certainly watch the Batman part 2. But yeah, so we're gonna get to the DC news, but got a couple of things I want to do first. Let's start out with some recent pickups. I'm gonna show you something very special that came in the mail this past weekend for me, and it's this right here. So I don't know you if you may have heard me talk about this book. This is Metal Shark Bro, and it's from Kevin Cuff and Bob France, who you may have heard of. They have a podcast called The Word Bros, but they are a comic book writing team, and they work with other artists to get their creations out there. And one of their like sort of breakout successful books was Metal Shark Bro. They actually won a Ringo Award for like the best humor comic, and I've got a trade paperback. Let me grab that as soon as I remember where I put it. Um, okay. I thought it was like right here. All right, yo, my bad. That's really weird. I don't loan my books out to people. Like I don't loan my books out to people at all. So it's somewhere close, but I don't know. I don't know what I did with it. So anyway, instead of showing you Metal Shark Bro, I will show you this. This is the Dust Pirates. This is another series that they did. They funded on Kickstarter. But Metal Shark Bro, I wanted to show you because maybe is this it right here? That's going to bug me until I figure out what I did with it. But anyway, Metal Shark Bro, I got to be very careful because this is a super rare and limited metal cover. And not only does it have a metal cover, but it's signed by Kevin Cuff, who is one of the Word Bros and one of the writers on this. I've never had a metal comic book before, but this is such a cool book. So Metal Shark Bro, the whole concept is it's a ridiculous concept, right? It's this dude basically this rock star dude like sells his soul to the devil for music industry success. And at the first sign of success, he falls off of a cruise ship or off a yacht and then gets promptly eaten by a shark. And so then the devil is basically like, yo, like this dude sold his soul to me and then you just ate him. Therefore, like you owe me. Like you are now my slave. Like whatever I was gonna make that dude do, like as a, devil worshiping rock star, now you gotta do. Um, and so with Metal Shark Bro, It's basically this dude trying to go on a quest and like kill a bunch of people as quickly as possible so that, he can go back to his life as just a regular old shark. And it's just funny because, he's got the consciousness of like this like metal punk rock dude. And it's just ridiculous humor, but it's a very fun book. But anyway, Kevin sent me this copy of issue 1, the foil cover. It's limited to 100 copies, and not foil, a metal cover. Like, it's heavy and everything. Limited to 100 copies. Mine is number 74 out of 100. And I'm really excited. I've been enjoying Kevin and Bob's work for the last couple of years. I met them in 2021, almost 2 years ago. And I see them at cons fairly often. They do signings in my area fairly often. And they sent that as a gift for the channel. And I was super excited. So I had to shout them out. So that was my recent pickup this week. And right along with recent pickups, I also want to let's review some comics, shall we? So let's get to the reviews of the week. Now, if you're subscribed, then you'll know that I already did my review of Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 3. I won't rehash my thoughts here. Long story short, I gave this a 9 out of 10. Thought this was a really good issue. And Miles Morales has officially leapfrogged Amazing Spider-Man for my favorite Spider-Man book at the moment, at least ongoing series. And I judge these books issue by issue. So issue 3 could be a 9 and issue 4 could be a 6 if that's how it shakes out. But as of right now, it's doing really well. So I'm excited about it. Never saw a metal cover that was literally made of metal. Yeah, dog. Like, it's heavy. Like, it's not practical at all. Like, because you will absolutely like trash the comic if you're not careful with this. But I don't know. It's just really cool. I've seen metal covers on like mostly like indie titles, and it's not very often that you see them, and they're almost always like super limited. So I'm just excited that I have that. So let's get to another review. So that's one of the big 2 books that I read. I didn't read anything else from Marvel this week yet. But the other book that I read from DC is this right here. This is the DC Power Celebration number 1. It's a one shot. This is the basically Black History Month, Black Pride, Black whatever anthology series from DC Comics. And I said series, it's an anthology issue. And what this is basically you got a bunch of Black and brown creators, or I think just Black creators, telling stories with a bunch of DC's often forgotten Black heroes. There's a story featuring the Amazing Man. There's a story featuring John Stewart. There's a story with Kid Flash, or Wallace West Kid Flash. There's a story with Nubia and Bumblebee that I really enjoyed. John Stewart, Green Lantern, I think I said him already. Jackson Hyde, Aquaman. There's a Cyborg story here, which basically serves as a prelude to the Cyborg series that's going to be launching later on this year as part of the Dawn of DC. As far as my thoughts on this issue, honestly, I wasn't mad at it. There's only okay. One of the stories that's in here is a Jace Fox story, but it's just reprinting um, his appearance in Batman Black and White from a couple years ago. Same with Joe Mullen. It's just a reprint of a few pages from one of her issues from the Far Sector run. So those I felt like were just, they could have told other stories. They could have gotten somebody to write new stories or draw new stories, but they didn't. But all in all, I felt like each story was well done. Each short story was well done. I think my favorites, I liked the Amazing Man story. And without going into too much detail, it's kind of a retelling of the real life, like sort of gentrification of the Detroit area. And the story kind of stuck out to me because I have been listening to the Dilla Time audiobook. If anyone is a fan of Jay Dilla, the music producer, he's from Detroit. And so one of the chapters in the book was just detailing the history of the city of Detroit. So I thought it was crazy coincidence to listen to all that history and then kind of see it retold in a comic format. So that was cool. There's a Black Lightning story where Black Lightning is trying to fight against city council who's trying to pass like a segregation act against metahumans. I felt like that was a little on the nose, especially since it was set in Selma, Alabama. Um, the Nubia story by Stephanie Williams. It's a Nubia and Bumblebee team up. And it ended up being the story that kind of resonated with me the most because after two back-to-back stories that kind of directly reference race relations, this Nubia story was just it was just a story. It was just like Nubia and Bumblebee just kind of being Black women in their space, going to enjoy the symphony of all things. And so I just like that. I like that it was just people just being. It just felt like a regular comic with regular people in it. And it wasn't like this like, okay, now that it's Black, let's talk about the struggle. you know, I appreciated that. And Stephanie Williams, I really enjoy her work. So I need to read more of it. So I guess I'm gonna stop like, putting it off and start reading this Nubia run. She's done several Nubia miniseries to kind of elevate her to the status that she's at now, where now Nubia is a part of the Justice League, even though the Justice League doesn't exist at the moment. There's a Brandon Thomas Green Lantern John Stewart story that I thought was pretty smart. Brandon Thomas was always entertaining. And Natasha Bustos does the art in that. I mean, I can't really keep like just going on and on and on, but I enjoyed the stories that I read. I think my favorite, like I said, I liked the Stephanie Williams Nubia story. I loved the Cyborg story by Morgan Hampton. Um, Vixen and Batwing I thought was okay by Chuck Brown. It really kind of just turns up when a certain villain that Chuck Brown is very familiar with shows up. And those are probably the high points for me. The only story I really wasn't a big fan of was the Wallace West and Jackson Hyde story, but it wasn't bad. There was nothing bad in this issue. Everything was well done. The art was pretty well done all the way around. So I got no complaints. DC Power was good. But if you want to hear my rant about DC Power, then, check it out on the channel because it's there. It's bittersweet to get like a book like this where you've got all these creators of color, all these characters, and all this like kind of forgotten history. Like Amazing Man is a deep cut. Like Black Lightning hasn't had a series in a while. And in between issues, they did like these like who's who pages explaining who the character is, what their history is. And it's just like, man, like you're celebrating the richness of their history, but you're not continuing the legacy in any meaningful way. So that kind of sucked. But each moment from each creator, they got their shine. And so I was excited about that. So yeah, that's my DC book that I read this week. And I'm gonna really quickly shout out these other two books, these indie books I read this week before we jump into our main topic for the evening. So first up is Almighty by Edward LaRoche. He writes and draws the book. And this is like one of those like, super like apocalyptic future stories where or it's like in like a crazy economy. It kind of reminded me of like the Book of Eli, which I've never even seen it all the way through. I just saw like the beginning of the Book of Eli. But anyway, this girl is kidnapped and this assassin is hired to rescue her. And you just kind of get, the rescue, the sort of, the grim, the gruff, like, hey, I got to watch over you. So don't try nothing crazy or don't go over here. Don't go over there. like typical stuff. I enjoyed this. I thought the art was really good. The colors I really love. They set the mood really well. Let me show you something. I guess I'll show you some art on here. Um, this one is like I would say it's one for mature readers just because of the violence, but as well as the language. Um, but this just reading this, I would rather read it all at one time. But this is like begging to be like an animated like short film or something. Like it's really, really good. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna continue it in single issues, but I'm definitely gonna pre-order the trade. And I might even like buy issues 2 and 3 just to make sure, as if my single issues or my single purchase is going to be what makes it so that this book is a trade. But I want this in trade. Honestly, I wanted it hardcover. This just looked really good and it was entertaining. Oh, so this Wolverine statue, that Wolverine statue is like a regular like action figure, like 6-inch action figure. So that's not a comic behind it. That's actually a poster. Um, there's a comic. So that's a poster. The poster is from the Ta-Nehisi Coates run of Black Panther. It is a Brian Stelfreeze image. And let me see if I can figure out exactly which issue it is for you. This is going to take a little bit longer, isn't it? But anyway, it's a little bit later in the run where it's kind of like a reappearance of the crew, which is a team uh, that Christopher Priest came up with, but didn't really get to do much with. So it's Storm, uh, Gentle, Luke Cage, T'Challa, and somebody's behind Wolverine, so I can't see him. But yeah, so that's what that image is. It's not a comic. It's a okay. So that image is from the cover of Black Panther, the 2016 Black Panther series, issue number 7. Oh, Misty Knight. That's who else it is. So yeah. I'll have to get a cover. Apology. No, you're good. You're good, Joe. You're good, Joe. But yeah, Black Panther issue 7, 2016. I love that cover. And I bought the poster at Heroes Con. It's actually signed at the bottom. But anyway, Almighty was good. And if you're one of those people that like doesn't read big two stuff, but you want to like still kind of escape and so on. Fox didn't make the All-Star team. Nothing. Oh, De'Aaron Fox. Dang. But anyway, this was good. This was really good. Like, if you're not reading a ton of other stuff, definitely pick this up. If you are reading a ton of other stuff, I'd probably still pick this up. This just feels like, for my taste, I'd rather read the story all at once. I didn't read anything. I didn't see anything that made it feel like it has to be an issue to issue read. So that's that. And then the last book I wanted to highlight, I put it down. Where'd I put it? I put it down right before. Okay, there we go. I was about to say I put it down right before you asked me about the thing. What is Almighty about? Got you. My bad. So it's like this post-apocalyptic future. America, or at least a subsection of America, has been like walled off, and society just kind of crumbled around it. And in this crazy post-apocalyptic future, a little girl, well, it says a young girl. She doesn't look all that young in this book, but she's kidnapped. And this book, like in issue 1, she's rescued. Like in the first couple of pages, she's rescued by this assassin who's hired to rescue her. And I imagine we're going to learn about, whoever this organization or this gang or whoever it was. We're going to learn more about why they kidnapped this girl, why the girl is important, why the rescuer, the savior, the mercenary, the assassin, that's Fale, that's her name. Fale is the assassin that rescues this girl. And I don't remember the girl's name. Did they even say it? They might not have even said it. But I mean, it's just like that. All right, kid, you're with me. Now let's go. We're on the move. Let me protect you while we, you know, get back to wherever we got to go. But it's set in like the year 2098. So, um, I like it. Like, it's good. It's really cool. And honestly, the more I talk about it, the more I want to read. So I probably will go ahead and just put this on the pull list. But like, this page right here is like a preview of issue 2, or it might even be the cover of issue 2. And it's just like, I don't know, this one lone assassin and this little girl against whoever comes up against them. It's a pretty cool book. I'm not super familiar with Edwin LaRoche. He did another series called The Warning that I'm probably going to buy on Comixology. And depending on how much I like that full series is going to determine if I'm going to like actually pull this or just wait for this to be collected and buy it later. So that was one indie book I read this week. And the other is this Blood Tree, #1 by Peter Tomasi and something Simic. And what I will say, this is from Image Comics and the Mad Ghost imprint, which is Jeff Johns's imprint over at Image. See, Mad Ghost. It's a detective story. It's these two detectives trying to figure out who this serial killer is, basically. And so it's set in modern day New York, which I really liked. I don't know if it's modern day, but it's definitely New York. Like they're at a Yankees game at one point. The one thing that kind of threw me off was that the art is nothing like this Gary Frank cover. I don't think this is a Gary Frank cover. Gary Frank did a variant, but the art is nothing like the cover. Maxim Simic is the artist's name. The art is kind of like that Gotham Central. There's other books that I've read with an art style that's kind of similar to this. It's more like, it's not super cartoonish. It kind of reminds me of like Chris Bachalo and Firepower, but not as kinetic as that. It's good. It's good storytelling. It's good art. I like the use of shadows. Like, I like the art. I don't have anything against the art, but it's just not what I expected looking at the cover. But anyway, this is a good old fashioned detective story. Like, bodies dropping out of the sky. We're trying to find clues. You got the cop or the detective and his partner. You got him going home to his wife. There's just so many things going on here. And yeah, this is like the start of it. It's just a great story. It's funny because when I was reading the solicit over couple weeks ago, because I was doing like books I'm most anticipating, and I was like, this sounds a little bit more mature than like what I would normally read. But my wife's been watching Criminal Minds, and it's like I feel like I'm excited. I can handle it now, or whatever. This definitely like felt like an episode of Criminal Minds. Like, okay, you got this one victim. What do we know about this victim? Got a second victim. Okay, are they connected in any way? Also, what are the things that we're finding at the crime scene? What do they tell us about this person? But a subplot seems to be this detective. I can't remember his name. I think it's Barrio, something like that. Detective Barrio's son seems to be like a disturbed kid. And it's like, yo, what is happening? So the solicit says that, the killer is kind of motivated by sort of family secrets and things like that. And that hasn't quite come out in issue 1, but there's hints of it even in the detective's own family. Um, this very much hooked me, is the point, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So Blood Tree, I don't remember why I rated it. Did I give it an 8 or a 9? One of the two. Probably 8.5. I don't know. Really good. I enjoyed Blood Tree. I don't think I rated it. So there we go. We'll just call it an 8.5. I liked it a lot. So yeah, those are my reviews for this week. But that is not what you're here to talk about tonight. Tonight, we are here because the DC universe has a new direction. Like, we know what's coming out for DC, and that's exciting. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this image that was assembled by, I think it's Heroes. Is it Heroes Rebound? The Heroes Authority. I should have written it down. I want to give them their credit though. So give me a second. Go to my Twitter and my likes. I think I liked it. Did I click the like button? I don't think I clicked the like button. Dang. Did I retweet it? Did I at least retweet it? James Gunn retweeted it. Give me a second, guys. I just got to credit these people because, people be working hard. Heroes Reforged. Heroes Reforged came up with this graphic. And so now we have, there we go. Thanks, Blue. So now we know like what chapter 1 of this new DC universe is going to be across film and TV. They mentioned games, but there's no games on this slate just yet. But we got, we're basically getting the 4 movies that we already knew were coming out, and those are all coming out this year. So we got Shazam, Fury of the Gods in March, which I'm excited about. Shazam too. The fact that we're having Shazam come out and Black Adam came out like 4 months ago, and they're not connected in any way is just wild. But anyway, The Flash is coming out in June, Ezra Miller's Flash, and that is going to reset the universe. So out of that reset, we're going to get a Blue Beetle story, or a Blue Beetle movie, I should say. I don't know why they chose the Prince Purple Rain font for the Blue Beetle movie. But yeah, we're getting that. And then in December, we're getting Aquaman 2. So what's interesting to me is like the universe is resetting, but Aquaman is still Aquaman. So I'm curious to see like how that's handled and what that means for other casting decisions. I don't know. Like, is Aquaman gonna be Jason Momoa like in perpetuity? Are there even plans, for another Aquaman movie? Who knows? But because I think all of these movies, like this takes us through like 2025, 2026. So there's a lot going on though. So once the universe is reset and all the stuff that was already in the can comes out, then we start with the new DC universe proper. First thing that was announced was this Creature Commandos animated series, which I'm not, crazy familiar with the Creature Commandos, but I love DC animation. And James Gunn's writing the whole animated series. So James did Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, and I didn't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were before those movies came out, and now I love them. So I imagine the Creature Commandos will be similar. But then we're also getting a live action series starring Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. That I'm excited about, mostly because I enjoy Viola Davis, but I also just like Amanda Waller. When she shows up in animation, I always love it. So, yeah. Menterprises says, yeah, it seems like not every JL member will be recast, which works for me. I mean, I like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. So, and I mean, how often are we really going to get Aquaman movies? What I love is that there's no Justice League movie anywhere near here. So it's like we can just have Aquaman in his own corner somewhere. We don't need to like try to force him into a narrative of like a bunch of other people right now. So of course, big news with a release date already is Superman Legacy in theaters July 11th of 2025. So all clues are saying that that one's going to be based off of All-Star Superman, which is one of the few Superman stories that everyone recommends that I still haven't read yet. So I guess I'm reading All Star Superman next. Superman Legacy's coming out. We're getting a Green Lanterns live action series that is not the same Green Lanterns live action series that we have been promised for the last few years. We're getting an Authority movie. And I can't even lie, I'm not crazy familiar with the Authority, but I'm from Date. We're getting a Paradise Lost live action series, which is basically like, focused on Themyscira, Wonder Woman's home world. Is it a world? Country? Yeah. And then we're getting easily what I'm the most excited about, and that is the Batman, The Brave and the Bold movie. And The Brave and the Bold, while that title does not say like, I don't know, Batman and Robin to me, this is going to be the movie that introduces Damian Wayne to the DC universe, like in movies. They're finally giving Damian a movie. He's been in several cartoons. So I'm excited to see Damian on the big screen. I'm also excited to see that there's a Robin on the big screen because Christopher Nolan was not trying to have a Robin. And Chris O'Donnell was too old to be Robin. So, I'm excited to see a Batman and Robin on screen. And I'm excited that it's Damian because Damian's a kid. Like with any other Robin, you could argue they're like 25, And so depending on how young you want to play Batman, like they just kind of look like two adults and it just kind of looks weird. So I love that it's going to be Batman and his son, Damian. And I just like Damian. I like Damian a lot. I love his personality. So we're also getting a Booster Gold live action series. And that's going to be fun. I've only read a little bit of Booster Gold, but he's just a funny character. I saw somebody that was kind of concerned, like, oh, they might like Deadpool him up a little bit too much, but I don't know. We're getting a Supergirl film based on the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow book by Tom King that we talked about earlier. I didn't read that book. I pulled it up on DC Universe a few minutes ago, but I didn't read it then either. And then we're getting a Swamp Thing film. It's going to be like a horror movie. So that's cool. Now, some other stuff that we're getting, well, this is stuff that already exists. So they're basically saying everything that's not like in the current DC continuity or their new DC continuity is going to clearly be marked Elseworlds. So under the Elseworlds banner is where Robert Pattinson's Batman will live, as well as its sequel, which comes out in October 2025. And then we got The Joker lives there, as well as the Joker sequel, starring Lady Gaga, which is coming out next October. So that'll be cool. And then the Teen Titans Go animated series and Superman and Lois on the CW, which apparently is not canceled yet because it's a part of this slate. So that'll be cool. But it's clearly marked Elseworlds, which means Tyler Hoechlin? I don't know how you say the dude's name. Is obviously not going to be the new DCU Superman. So that's the slate. So now I guess we can talk about like what everybody's really excited about. Like I said, I'm most excited about the Brave and the Bold movie with Damian on screen. I was going to go pull out my first appearance of Damian. It's on the shelf over there, but I'm going to leave my seat one time per episode. How about that? I'm very excited to own that book, though. I'm never selling it, but if I was going to sell it, I'd probably make some money, in a couple years. So that's cool. Ant is looking forward to the Green Lantern and Batman Brave and the Bold. Yeah, the Lantern series sounds cool. It's basically like Hal and Jon Stewart being cops together. And I think he said it was going to be like True Detective, which I've never seen True Detective. So maybe if I was more hip and watched more TV, some of these announcements would mean more to me. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited to see Jon Stewart on a screen. And I've never really, I won't read a ton of Green Lantern, but I'm curious to see how Jon and Hal interact. Like, how are they good partners in a cop type scenario? Let's see. Menterprise says, I wonder how they'll film with the Damian Wayne actor because he's probably going to age fast. Right. In a year where it's like, or, we take 2, 3 years between movies. Like a kid hits a growth spurt one summer at like 13 years old, and that's it. Like that's it for that dude. So that's it. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that. But maybe it's like a one-off thing. Like, oh, Batman had a son, and then they do a flashback or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I have to see the Lanterns. Not a fan, but I am a sucker for buddy cop TV shows. Yeah, same, same. Menterprises is glad they're introducing an established Bat family. Yeah, I feel like having Damien means that Tim Drake is out there somewhere, Jason Todd's out there somewhere, Dick Grayson's out there somewhere, or at least if you're, holding true to comic book history. And because we have Damien, that means those other guys are older, and so there's stories that we can tell about how they got to where they are. So I like it. I like it. Gabe says, I think it sucks we'll no longer see Henry Cavill as Superman, but that's just me. I just hate that they went through all the trouble of making him announce that he was going to be Superman. And then there was an article that came out. James Gunn did an interview, and he straight up said, he was like, yeah, he never got fired. The fact is, we never hired him to be Superman. Like, he was never cast. So then it's like, well, who was it that made him make that announcement? And why? Why would they do that if they didn't think it was set in stone? So just terrible decision making all around, if you ask me. But nobody asked me. Let's see. Joseph is looking forward to Lanterns, Batman Brave and the Bold, Supergirl, and Waller. I'm excited about the idea of the Supergirl movie because I've never read the book. I don't really know what kind of tone it's going to take. But what he described was like just a very angry, weathered Supergirl, kind of vengeful. So I'm like, okay, that's a fun take. That could be cool. So I don't know, man. But yeah, I'm excited about Waller. I'm excited again. Always excited for anything animated. So Creature Commandos, like I'm down for that. And he did say that like if people are introduced like in an animated series, they will also play their live action counterparts, which makes it sound like there's more animated series in the works. And again, I'm always down for a good animated series, so that'll be cool. Gabriel says, hopefully Brave and the Bold and the Batman 2 will be great. Huge Batman fan here. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I feel like it's very hard to make a Batman movie that's not good, or that at least that doesn't feel true to the character, right? Like Batman's been done so many different ways. Like he's wacky, he's super calculated, he's a detective, he can be silly, like he can be any of those things and still feel like Batman. So I feel like it's really hard to like screw up a Batman movie. But I say all that, and then somebody will have Batman out in these streets branding criminals. So will be interesting to see who they'll cast as Batman. Yeah, I'm curious about that too. Henry Cavill should eventually be in the Elseworlds with Matt Reeves Batman. Honestly, man, like just let Henry Cavill do whatever he wants to do. Like, like quit bothering that man. Like, that's like the ex-girlfriend that you like keep calling. Like, just don't call that girl. Like, you don't want that girl. So just leave her alone. Let her go be happy. Let Henry Cavill go be happy. Bat credit card. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. That definitely happened. Well, that's great. It's silly. Bat shark repellent. Like there's, Batman can be campy and Batman can be really cool. So I like it either way. This Swamp Thing film though, like I'm low key excited about that. And the Blue Beetle is intriguing to me. Of course, I'm excited to see Shazam, which comes out next month. I didn't even realize that. Um, and I'm curious to see the Flash because I want to see how they wrap up and reset this universe. Like, what is the how does the Flash universe do it? What cameos are we gonna see? How are they going to explain away certain things, especially if you know everyone's not being recast and Aquaman still gets to be standing at the end of the movie? Um, you know, I mean, it could just be that Aquaman's a flashback. I don't know, but I'm curious to see like how they handle the timeline, how all that works. New Flash trailer should air during the Super Bowl. That'll be cool. That'll be cool. I typically don't watch the Super Bowl. I don't even know who's playing this. The Chiefs are playing in the Super Bowl. Do we know who else is going to play? I guess I could look that up. Super Bowl 20. Oh, I should have said 2023. Said 23. In the bowl. Oh, the Eagles. The Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Ah, I don't know who I would go for. I'm not a big fan of either team. Not really a big football fan. So I like the Eagles colors more. The last time the last time the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, I can't even remember if they won it. Um, but one of my coworkers was a big Eagles fan. And I remember rooting against the Eagles then because I was not a fan of that of that uh coworker. Okay, they won it in 2017, which is about the time I started that job. Go Eagles. Blue says Waller and maybe Lanterns, depending heavily on John's casting. There's just so many bad decisions that can ruin all of this. Word. I feel you. I'm I'm excited about Waller. Lanterns could go either way. And when we call it a live action series, where is it gonna live? Like, is it a series for HBO? Is it a series for HBO Max? Or is it a series for CW? Because those things like matter. I mean, if it's HBO Max, like I'm down. I'm down for that. Did they sell the CW? I think they're talking about selling the CW. Yeah, CW was sold back in August. Exactly. Most likely the new streaming service that will combine HBO Max Discovery. Oh yeah, what are they calling that? I think they named it. It will reportedly just be called Max. I'm fine with that. I'm fine. I don't know. I mean, I have Discovery Plus. I have HBO Max. All I ever watch on Discovery Plus is like the home renovation shows. Like I like a good house flipping show, Property Brothers and all that. John Stiles says I think Paradise Lost will be the sleeper hit. So I'm concerned. Like I'm never a big fan of like let's explore the world of this hero without this hero. Like there's only so much hinting at an appearance of Wonder Woman that I'm gonna care about, right? Um, I mean, sometimes it's done well. Like I liked Gotham at least through like 2 seasons. I watched Gotham and it was cool. Um, but it's like it gets to this point where like if the show is a hit, they're gonna keep it going, right? But it's like there's only so far you can logically take that story before the big hero has to show up. So I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with that show Krypton that I don't think made it past 2 seasons. Um, Pennyworth, I never watched Pennyworth. Um, yeah, that's kind of my deal with, oh, let's explore the mythos, but not explore the myth. You know? Uh, Just seems like uh, a flawed formula for a TV show. But I don't know, man. I guess there is a lot of unexplored territory with Themyscira and the Well of Souls, and like there's a lot that you could do with it. Um, but it's got to be really entertaining to hold my attention, like without the main characters, you know. So it just depends on where they take it. Um, how y'all feeling about Booster Gold? I feel like Booster Gold could be cool. Like when I'm looking at all this, Booster Gold kind of stands out as a like just good comic relief. I feel like we're gonna need that. Um, a lot of this stuff looks like it's just gonna be real serious. Like the Superman movie looks like it's gonna be bright, which is needed. Um, but the Authority looks like, kind of drab. The Lanterns movie, I mean, it's gonna series is gonna be, like a cop show. I think Booster Gold is going to be a bright spot, like the kind of sleeper bright spot. Um, it might be the only one, honestly. It's that and Superman. I mean, Batman Brave and the Bold can be fun, um, but we'll see. Hoping for a Blue Beetle and Booster Gold team up. That'd be dope. Oh yeah, Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle's a bright spot too. You know what sucks? Like I kind of liked Ezra Miller's Flash. Like he doesn't strike me as Barry Allen at all, but I just liked his humor in the Justice League movies. And he's gonna be gone too. Tomorrow's comic says Yara Flor, Wonder Woman in Paradise Lost. Love the character, but I wonder if she'll make an appearance. Um, would she? I don't know. The name Paradise Lost makes it sound like it's an early Themyscira set story, you know? So like Yara Flor shouldn't be a thing because she's newer. She's younger than Wonder Woman. I don't know. Gabriel needs to read some Swamp Thing. Never read the characters' runs. Yeah, I haven't read any Swamp Thing either. Blue says, I feel like Booster is going to be way too funny in the worst way, like Thor was. Yeah, I could see that. They could do that. I hope they don't do that. Maybe with it being a TV show, like it'll be tolerable because you're doing it in doses. You're not sitting there for 3 hours and you're not like going back and forth between what should be like really serious content and then like screaming goats, you know. 2025 is going to be a wild year for comic book films. Where John Styles, Booster Gold's been a D-list character to me mostly, but I do like the take on him in Human Target. I think the only Booster Gold I've really read was he had a short appearance in Deceased, in like a Deceased special. I've read Booster Gold in something else too. Was it Heroes in Crisis? I don't know. Maybe it was Deceased. Maybe the other Deceased. I don't know. I'm excited about the Batman part 2, but like it's kind of like when a book is a limited series and not an ongoing, and you're like, I can deal with that later, right? It kind of immediately takes a little bit of the sheen off of the Robert Pattinson Batman because like we know it's not going to go much further than it's gone, you know? And then they're calling it part 2 like it's basically the same story still, not even like a new adventure with Batman. So, I don't know. Would be nice if we could finally get a Batman Beyond movie. I mean, I get it. I think the problem with Batman Beyond is like it doesn't make sense with the rest of everything, right? Like I guess you could do Batman Beyond as Elseworlds, but like there's no world to me that makes sense where Bruce Wayne ever has to find some unknown kid to be his replacement. Like you got Dick Grayson, you got Damian, you got Tim Drake, you got Jason Todd. Like there are so many options. Like I feel like Barbara would just be Batgirl and there'd be no Batman, before some random kid comes and like discovers Bruce's secret and gets trained to replace Batman. I hope James Gunn does a great job for DC, but he should be careful since his wife is an actress on both Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. I haven't seen Suicide Squad or Peacemaker. Who is James Gunn's wife? And I feel, I mean, it's that I don't think that would, you know, taint his thing. I don't think. I mean, I feel like you can be married to somebody without like, you know, wouldn't it cloud your whole career? Batman would be dope. Yeah, I don't know how Batman Beyond would work like in a cinematic universe where everything has to be connected, everything has to like lead to some logical point in the future. Batman Beyond would be a good excuse for Michael Keaton to play as Bruce Wayne again. Apparently he's gonna be in the Flash movie, right? So yeah, I don't maybe there's something that y'all see in Michael Keaton that I don't, but like I don't need Michael Keaton back at his age to be Batman in any capacity. I don't need an old Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton. I don't need a trying to be young Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton either. I like the 89 and I like Batman Returns for what they are, but I don't like need him to reprise that role from 35 years ago. Wonder how well a Red Hood and the Outlaws movie or miniseries would work. I guess it depends on how it's done. I think that could be cool. I think that could be cool. I mean, I don't see why that would do any worse than the Lanterns live action series. So I think that could be dope. But overall, man, I'm excited about what they've got going on. You know, John Stiles says, "Where is Static in all this?" Static is not in any of this. There, at least there was a milestone animated movie in the works, like under like the kind of straight to DVD. Uh, just like the Super Sons went to theaters, didn't it? No, it didn't. It didn't. It went straight to HBO Max, but Super Pets went to movies. But this one, it's gonna be like that Green Lantern Beware My Power, that John Stewart movie that they just kind of threw out there. It'll be like that if it's still coming out, which I believe it's still coming out, like it's still in development. And then there was supposed to be a Static live action movie, and it was in development. And yeah, that's I don't even know if they finished the script yet, but I don't I feel like I haven't heard anything about that movie. It was like, oh, Michael B. Jordan is signed on to produce, and then it was like they found a script writer, if I'm not mistaken. And that's like all the updates that there have been. I've not heard of any casting. I've not heard of a director attached. So I don't know. I mean, this year is Milestone's 30th anniversary. Maybe at Comic-Con we'll get more announcements, like later on this year, about the status of those things. I imagine the animated Milestone movie can't be that far away. They announced it at the same time as the Super Pets and the Super Sons movie, and those are both out already. Um, but IMDb, I don't think it even has a name yet. Typing in Milestone Animated to see if there's anything that even pops up. Type in Milestone Media. Yeah, there's like nothing there. I just put in Dennis Callen's name. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, there's nothing about this Milestone animated movie showing up on IMDb. But Dennis Callen is credited on a few episodes of Young Justice, and specifically with Holocaust and Icon and Static. Like, did all those people show up? All them dudes show up in Young Justice, and I missed it? That may have happened because I definitely didn't watch season 4. So anyway, now we're on a tangent. Very disappointed they didn't move forward with Static. Yeah, man. Them's the breaks. Legion of Superheroes animated film comes out on Tuesday, I believe. I guess I can take this little graphic off the screen. I want to say I saw that DVD in the store yesterday when I was at Target, the Legion of Superheroes joint. With Static, I don't know. Never was too upset with the Batgirl cancellation, but still feel bad for the cast and crew. Agreed. Unfortunately, enthusiasm doesn't equal vision. Look at Black Adam. That movie the move Dwayne should have made was Sabretooth. Word. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Black Adam. It was cool, but it wasn't all that. I just think it was weird because like it should have tied into Shazam, and like they just went out of his way to make sure it would not. Like, nah, I'm gonna fight Superman, not Shazam. As if Shazam isn't as powerful as Superman. But anyway, grateful or disappointed that you'll never get to see the Batgirl movie. I don't know. The dude straight up said that the movie was like unreleasable, which that's a strong word. I'm curious to see it, if anything, if nothing else. And I don't know if unreleasable meant bad or if unreleasable just meant that it would have made the timeline even more convoluted because you had Michael Keaton in it and, all these other people. I feel like that's what unreleasable meant. I don't think there's no way it's like just a horrible garbage trash movie. It can't be worse than the first Suicide Squad, right? Wonder how well a live action or even an animated Batman Spawn crossover would work. And if they ever get a Spawn movie off the ground, I'd rather it be animated. But if I'm honest, like the Batman Spawn crossover that we just got this year, the story just didn't make sense to me. It looked great, but it didn't make sense. So I don't know, man. I don't know if I need Spawn in any other media than comics. Because in comics, it's okay to not make sense as long as you look good. In a movie, it's just like, dog, like, what are we watching? What is this? I like Mr. Terrific, but that 90s jacket, though. I like the jacket. Fair play. I like it. So, yeah, man. Well, look, I am going to try to grab some dinner. I warmed up this slice of pizza, this little Red Baron pizza, before I started. And now it's cold. I'm going to have to warm it up again. And I'm going to get ready for this appearance on the Vactorverse podcast. So I don't know, whenever that episode drops, I'll put it on the community tab. Overall, though, I'm just excited that the DC universe has a direction. And it's not just like, here's a random movie here and TV show there. You like the Gotham Knights? All right, let's do that. Yeah. Like, I like that there is a vision. I don't know what the vision's building to, but I don't need to know what the vision's building to as long as I can enjoy each individual segment of it. And right off the bat, it doesn't seem like everything on this DC slate is necessarily for me. But I mean, it reminds me of the MCU in that way, where it's like, some of these TV shows, I probably don't need to watch Paradise Lost. I probably won't not know what's going on in the world if I don't watch it. Just like I didn't watch Loki or Miss Marvel or She-Hulk. I didn't watch any of those, and I don't feel bad about not seeing them. So I'm excited that there's a direction. I'm excited that there's variety. There seems to be something for everyone, and it's not that everything is trying to be for everyone, because I think that's the problem that DC's had in the past, is trying to make blockbusters without establishing anything first. So all in all, I'm excited that we've got a different direction, a seemingly more modest direction to start, and we'll see how it builds. But as a DC Comics fan, I'm excited to see what the DC, movie slate can look like. So I'm excited. I'll be excited when we get out of this first chapter and into some more stuff, and we can kind of really see the wheels turning. But that's going to do it for me. This has been a great episode, in my opinion. I've been enjoying hanging out with you guys and talking to you guys. If you want more recommendations for comics, right? Because there's a Final Order cutoff is this weekend, and there's a bunch of books coming out. There's a video coming out about it tomorrow, but if you want my recommendations in your email inbox, go ahead and sign up for This Week in Comics. It's in the description down below, and you'll get my thoughts on a few of this week's issues, my thoughts on what you should pre-order in the next week, and some comic book news, all that. But until next time, man, peace to all of you. I will see you guys later. Oh yeah, don't forget to read something dope today.